Hi there. Welcome back to RNC Adventures. I'm Ricky.
I'm Christy, and this is part 2 of Blind Side of Packing. And we hope you enjoyed part 1 and hope you enjoyed part 2. So stay tuned.
You look for something, I'll look for something.
All right, so whenever you go to check into the hotel, they always want you to sign that pesky thing saying that you won't do this and you won't do that, and
You'll behave.
You're gonna behave in the hotel room. So it's nice to have a signature guide to line up. So we always carry one of those. We pretty much carry those everywhere we go. But so we have our signature guide.
Yeah, most of those can fit right in your wallet and in the card pocket of your wallet. So you really have no excuse to not have a signature guide with you at any point in time. But you always want to make sure when you're going on a trip, especially for work, business, hotel, etc., you have something like that. Now, Christy, I have pulled out this great device that you use quite often, and I'm going to let you share it with everybody so that you can explain more about it, what you use it for, and how you use it. And I'll look for another goodie.
Well, before I did that, one of the things I have here is I usually pack. I'm actually wearing sunglasses today. Having a little light sensitivity at the moment. So sunglasses, usually am wearing a pair, and I take a spare pair with us. So always have to have the spare pair.
Always have a spare pair. Yeah. Never know if you lose them or break them. Not that you do any of that, right?
So what I have is, what's the name of this thing? Amigo is what this is called. And it wants to be charged. So it died. Okay, so it is a small portable magnifier. It's called Amigo, and it has a little pull-out little stand so that it can sit on the table. It has 2 different positions that it can do. The best one for reading would be first.
The handheld?
It's not a handheld.
Oh.
Yeah, it sits on the table.
Table, okay.
Yeah. So, and it's pretty much your standard magnifier, slide across the table. You can magnify, you can, I can't remember what the magnification level is, and like I said, it just died.
I think it's 8 or 10 is the max.
I believe it might be 12.
Okay.
And then of course you can, change the contrast, the normal colors, the blue, yellow,
Contrast.
the contrast to, I usually use the black with the white writing, so I can't ever remember the rest of them. There's normal, obviously, whatever that is.
You think in the future you'll do a video?
I will, yes, most definitely do a video on the Amigo when it's not dead.
Amigo. All right. Well,
But it comes with a cute little carry case. It has a over-the-shoulder strap that you can use if you so choose. And it's pretty light.
why don't you real quickly tell everybody what you use that for from time to time when we're on trips? What are some things that you find yourself using it for?
I have used this for work events, helping people with signing waivers. I've used it for reading menus. I've used it for reading. When we were on our cruise, they had a daily agenda that came in to the room every day. So I would go through it a little bit. I would read it, some of it. I don't do a lot of print reading. It's just too strenuous. So mostly it's for signatures and that type of stuff is what I stick with. But if somebody had more usable vision than I did, this would be, definitely a great product for them to be able to. But it is definitely helpful for me.
All right, so we're going to move on to some things that we pack for our guide dogs. They're an intricate part of our traveling arrangements. So we usually have to give off a nice portion of our luggage, if not a separate bag for them, depending on how long we're going, for our guide dogs. And so one of the things that we have is a collapsible bowl. It's a rubber, can go in the dishwasher. You can, it collapses in itself, so it really looks like a Frisbee when it's collapsed, and then you can pop it out, and you've got a nice sized bowl here for water or food. Again, I actually take this when we're if Alice and I are just traveling down 2 or 3 blocks and it's hot out, I take this with me in my backpack to make sure that I have something that I can give her some water with, especially in the summer here in the South. I always want to make sure she has some hydration when we're out. So this collapsible bowl is a great item to take with you. We just simply slip it down into a Ziploc bag whenever we are not using it. That keeps the rest of our clothes or luggage clean. If maybe there's some dog slobber or dog food residue, and zipping it up in a Ziploc bag and squeezing the air out of it is exactly what we do when we pack it.
Until we have time to get home and clean it.
That's right. So let's see, what else do we have for our dogs that we usually take? Well, speaking of the food, how do we take a bag of dog food with us when we're going on a trip? What we use is a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and we fill it up with as many cups as we measure out how many cups we're going to use throughout the trip, approximation, and then we zip it up and put it in our luggage. One of the things I will tell you is, for those of you who are traveling on an airplane or going through security,
Pull that food out.
Pull the bag out of whatever luggage you have. Have it on top, ready to pull out, because this shows up on the scanners as a solid mass, and they will hold you up and check everything in your bag and identify what the problem is, because it does not show up nicely on the scanner. So make sure and pull this bag out and put it in the bin, or pull it out and run it through the scanner itself, so they know that this is a bag. And then they're going to shake it around, make sure there's no hidden objects inside there. But that's the traveling tip I'm going to give you, free of charge, because I already did it a few times and got caught. The other thing you can do with food, when we went to Hawaii last year, and some other long trips that we went on, if it's going to be more than, say, 5 days that we're gone, we actually, instead of packing a bag of food, we actually send a small bag of food to the hotel, either through like Chewy.com that will deliver it for you, or we make it in our plans to run by the store and grab some dog food, so that we don't have to tote that much weight around. And sometimes you find yourself having, even when you buy the small bag, you don't use it all. It's your choice whether you want to bring it back or not, but it really is cost effective and problematic solution if you sometimes, for the long trips, have that delivered to your hotel. All right, what else do you got there, Christy?
All right, so we got a couple of toys. We got a little rope chew toy, or a tug toy, and then we have a little ball, because they are puppies. They like to play. So when we leave the house, they're still dogs. So when we get to the hotel room, they're still going to want to unwind, and they're going to want to play, and then they're going to want to eat and rest and chill out. And so
try to keep them in the same routine as much as we possibly can. Another thing that we like to take along with us are the dog bones, Nyla bones. And I'm just going to give you another tip. that we've found is when you're taking your nylabone, be prepared and maybe even pull that bone out and put it in the bin when you're going through security, because those, especially if the dog is, you know, chewed a pretty nice sharp end, or, you know, shank-like, if you will, that will register on the machine, and you want to bring that out for them to see immediately, so that they can see, you know,
That it's not a weapon.
it's not a weapon. It's not nothing. It's for the dog, and generally speaking, they'll put two and two together. You know, if you've got a guide dog there and you've got a bone, okay, it goes together. But if you, I'm willing to bet if you go through with a cane and you have the bone in your bag and you don't have your guide dog with you, they might, you know, ask a few questions. But that's something to remember. But something we take with us. Can we talk about these?
Yeah. Should be a brush in there too.
I'll get that next.
We'll also talk about it at the same time.
Okay.
All right, so I am, and this is going to be kind of weird, am super allergic to our dogs. I found this out about 2.5, 3 months after Ricky got back with Alice.
She's a slow learner, y'all.
Right before I was getting ready to go get Aslan, that I was pretty sure I was allergic, and went and got tested after I got back with Aslan. So that being said, we have to do a lot of brushing the dogs, brush them a lot, and I love our dogs, but I can't stand the smell of dogs. So we keep puppy wipes that have a fresh scent to them, so that we can brush them, we can wipe them down on a regular basis to try to keep down on the dog smell and the dander, so that I don't die. That's a bit extreme. I'm being a little bit dramatic there, but yeah, it's just my thing, I guess, is I just don't do the dog smell. So.
Well, and when you're in, you know, an airplane, or in, you know, when you're going to a hotel, you're going to public transportation, you know, you use Lyft, etc. Having a well-groomed dog goes a long way. It's not only is it part of the ADA law that as long as your dog is properly groomed and you know, not mangy looking and all that good stuff, you know, you're allowed to take your dog into any public area. But you can easily be denied hotel stay, or getting in a cab or in a Lyft or Uber if your dog smells bad, has a lot of hair, you know, not been combed all that well. So having these things with you when you go on these trips is a really good thing to do, and can help you go, you know, make a more smooth, successful trip. So
one of the things I always thought about was, you know, if it rains, what are you gonna do?
oh yeah,
So having the wet wipes to kind of even out the smell some seemed like a good idea, and so it definitely does help.
yep. All right, so we have traveled to some of the desert type areas, New Mexico, California, and we did it in the middle of summer and with our guide dogs, and so the pavement there gets really, really hot. We've also traveled in snowy, cold conditions. I went to Minnesota in the middle of January. Not by choice, but that's where I had to go. So not forgetting to take your shoes with you, your guide dog shoes, your little sneakers, having those. I have those here in my hand. They come in a set of 4, and they got the little grippy rubber soles, and then you simply Velcro, put your dog's paw inside each one. Your school should have trained you how to use these shoes. If not, I would contact them to get proper training, because you can hurt your dog's paw if you're not careful. putting them in, sliding the paw inside, all the nails and all that inside, and then pulling the Velcro and fixing it around the ankle of your dog goes a long way in making sure that your dog has their feet properly taken care of. The other thing that I would recommend you to put in that, if you have to take your bag of shoes, I would also recommend you can buy, there's a special cream that you can buy for your dogs to help repair your dog's pads. I believe it's called pad cream or something to that effect. That is a staple that's should be in your bag as well, because if you have to take this bag, you have to take that cream as well, just in case something happens. So remember that as well. The other items I would recommend to take with you when you're going with your guide dog is toothpaste and toothbrush for your guide dog, because Lord knows nobody wants bad smelly doggy breath. So having something like that as well is a good thing. Anything else in our bag here?
Last but not least, we have, it looks like a bone. We have one other one. It looks like a little, almost like a little backpack with a little zipper on it, and they both hold poop bags. So you gotta make sure that you clean up after your dog. So those are obviously very, very important. We usually have whatever is in our container, whether it be one of the bones or it be one of the little backpack with the zipper cases, whichever we're using at the time.
I think those are called leash
bags.
Leash bags, yeah.
Yeah. It looks like a little backpack though.
It does, and it straps right across the your leash, just or your harness. You can put it on either one.
Yeah, and I really like those because you don't forget you have your leash right there. And we always take like a spare roll of bags just in case, what we have isn't enough, because you know, it's not something you want to leave behind. I think that's it.
And so the other thing that we thought we'd talk about real quick is to talk about some of the apps that we use on our phone, because one of the things that we found is in all of our adventures. Now guys, when we say adventure, we really mean it is an adventure, whether it's around town here in Nashville or surrounding areas, or if we go somewhere totally out of our state, that we've never been to before, or even if we've been there before, we go, just Christy and I, and we walk around. I mean, that's part of the fabric of our relationship. When Christy and I first met, one of the first things that Christy was doing was she was transferring from a small town, one horse, one red light small town to the big city of Nashville, and she wanted to learn how to use the buses and get around Nashville independently. And so one of the things that I did with her, even before Christy and I started dating or anything like that, was to help her with learning the bus system, learning how to get from certain places she might want to get downtown. And then what we started doing was, after we went to all the places I knew how to get to, we started exploring places that neither one of us had been to. And that was basically the foundation of our relationship, and what we thrive on as we move forward in our lives together is taking these adventures and not being afraid to. So we use different apps to help us get around. Some of the ones that I can think of off the top of my head that we use quite often, of course, is Lyft and Uber. Those are accessible with VoiceOver. And if you're not familiar, or you don't use an iPhone or Android that has the capability of Lyft or Uber, there is something called Grandparents. I'm not sure what it's called. It's Grandparents Go or something like that. It's basically, you call a number and you can schedule a Uber or Lyft using just calling a telephone number, and so you don't have to use the app. So keep that in mind for those of you who may not be such high-tech folks. You can always use that number, and we probably should do a video on that service.
Yeah.
Uber, Lyft, and
The flip phone user?
Grandfather Go app. Yeah, we have some friends of ours that we know are flip phone users, so they don't have a smartphone. So that's a good thing for them. So look for that video coming up in the future from us. But what are some other apps that you think of we use a lot? Well, we use
What is the one called?
Blind Square.
Blind Square.
We use Blind Square. Blind Square there's two kinds. There's Blind Square, and then there's Around Me. Around Me and Blind Square are two of the same different types of apps. And so what they allow you to do is they allow you to, using GPS service, you can either put in a destination that you're wanting to go to, or you can have the phone tell you what type of places are around you. Let's say you go outside your hotel and you're looking for what a type of restaurants may be around. You can use one of those apps to help you find what may be around you as far as restaurants or other different places, and then get directions where it updates as you go. So for instance, if I was to choose the McDonald's that's apparently 0.7 miles from me, and I start walking, if I've put a tracker on that particular location, then it will tell me through my phone what in 500 feet McDonald's will be on your left, or something to that effect. So it also identifies, as you come up to them, street crossings. So it'll tell you the street crossing you're coming up to, and you can always shake the phone and it will tell you what current address you're at. So those are two apps that are very good to use. They both do this generally the same thing. Having a good GPS app that has walking directions is huge to have. Something that will just sort of like the GPS you would use in a car, but something like that has walking directions. I know that Maps actually has walking instructions. Some people prefer that app or like that app, some people don't. So there's all kinds of out there that you can get. Some you pay for and some that are free. What are some other apps we use?
Seeing AI.
Say it louder.
Seeing AI.
Seeing AI, yeah. Want to tell about that one?
It's got quite a few different options. Everything from short text, documents, handwriting. Depending on what you're wanting to look at, you can actually go to person, and if you have taken the time to take pictures of different people and saved their name with that picture, and you're looking around for that person, it will find that person and say, I had my phone on and was looking around the room and I had person selected and was looking for Ricky. It would say Ricky bottom left corner, it was something like that. Or if we were looking for one of our kids, as long as I had them all programmed in there, it would tell us where in the frame that particular child was. The handwriting is supposed to be able to read handwriting. I haven't fully tested some people's handwriting.
I imagine those are really
some
small.
Some people, yeah, I'm not sure. I have tried some handwriting. It can read mine, and mine's not that great. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Doesn't it also have a bill identifier on there?
It has a bill identifier. It has a color identifier. It has a couple of others that I haven't played with, other features, and I can't remember off the top of my head what they are.
Yeah.
But it's pretty neat little app.
Yep. There are, the KNFB reader that from the National Federation for the Blind. It's a great app to use for reading documents, or some people like to use it to read their menus when they're out at restaurants. It's a great app for that, but it also costs like $100 or so. So that's not necessarily the affordable for everyone. The Seeing AI, is it free?
Yeah.
It's a free app.
Yeah.
There are, we talked about, in the video earlier, we talked about using Ira. And so you have Ira as an option. That costs a monthly fee. Another fee that's for free, or an app that's for free, is called Be My Eyes. That does the same thing with your phone. It connects you with a live volunteer that will help you to complete tasks. They have a high call volume from time to time, so sometimes it takes you a minute to get someone on the line, but you can use them to kind of tell you what's around. I remember one time I was outside of a business and I wanted to, I just wanted to see if there was any benches around, and I used it for them to kind of look around and help me find a bench to sit on and wait for my paratransit ride. So you can use those. There are other apps out there for transportation, such as there is a transit app that has some of the major transit schedules on it. There are your airlines usually has a app that you can use to track your flight. Has Greyhound came out with their? I know they were working on an app, but I don't know I know they came out with one, but it wasn't very accessible. So I'm not sure if they've updated that yet. They have one, but I don't know that it's all that accessible, that sort of thing. Another app that I use is a bill identifier app. I also use color identifier apps on my phone, but one of the things that Christy uses on her phone, rather than if she doesn't want to pull out the big magnifier, or the bigger magnifier, it's not big as in it can be carried, it's sort of like a purse size or something like that.
I have like the small, medium, and large
Do.
magnifiers.
So on her phone, she has the built-in magnifier app that's on the phone. Yeah. You can use the camera of the phone as a magnifier, a handheld little magnifier there. So there's all kinds of apps out there you can use. Again, like we've said all along, if you want to do something, there's a way to get it done. There's maybe several different combinations of things that you can do to get things done, that something works for you, doesn't work for someone else. You have to figure that out. But just as important as what you pack is also the tools that you use. So make sure that you have apps downloaded on your phone to help you with different things. So keep a watch on our channel for the tools and technology section, where we'll be uploading different apps that we use from time to time, and getting to know all of those things that we use. Maybe that'll be helpful to you. I also can't say this enough. Search YouTube for other channels. There's plenty of other blind, visually impaired people out there that are using apps every day. That all they do on their channel is review apps. So check that out as well. All right, so anything else, Christy?
I don't think so.
Okay, guys, so we appreciate you tuning in for this episode, and we hope you liked it. Please hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. Remember, we're still in that 20 subscriber giveaway. So when we reach, I believe it's 68 subscribers, we're going to do take the last 20 subscribers and put them all in a basket, shake it up, and we're going to draw out for a $20 gift card. So be sure to subscribe, tell your friends about it, have them subscribe. Maybe tell them if they win, you'll split the money with them, $10 a piece. It's at least lunch, you never know. So hit the subscribe button. Please, though, go down in the comment section. Leave us some tips that you use when you're packing, things that you may pack for your trips that are maybe a little different than ours. Everybody's different, and the only way we're going to learn about different techniques and different tools is by sharing. So make sure to comment down below some of the things that you use. If you'd like to know more about some of the things we use, if you have a question about something particular you'd like to know, please please either shoot us an email or leave a comment below. And we're pretty good at answering both fairly quickly. So that email address, Christy, is
rncadventures1@gmail.com.
all right. So thank you very much for joining us, and remember,
Keep living life to the fullest. Very